Hi, this is Kurt with Axtreme-Guitar, and for this video I'm going to be working on the intro to the song When the Children Cry by White Lion. What I'm doing when I start playing this song will be some basic finger picking patterns, nothing too technical. So for starters, we're going to be tuned in standard tuning, which is E-A-D, G-B-E. So if you've been listening to the original song, it's a fade in. What we're gonna do is start on this open E, and I'm at the 12th fret. So I use my thumb, and I just let my thumb fall onto the A string, just like this. And then I'm using my bottom three fingers, ring finger, middle, and pointer. And I'm going 3, 2, 1, 2. And I'm at the 12th fret, like I said, with my ring finger. And then I go to the 10th. Same picking pattern, 3, 2, 1, 2. But there's one change. When I get to the 8th fret, I'm going to go 3, 2, and then shift down to the 7th fret, and it's going to be again a 3, 2. But then I stick my pinky down on this 10th fret, and I go back to the 3, 2, 1, 2, to my middle finger that's on the 8th fret and 7th fret. So if we recap real quick, that is open E string, ring finger on the 12th fret, 3, 2, 1, 2 picking pattern, to the 10th fret, and then it's a 3, 2, 3, 2 picking pattern when I go to the 8th fret, and then 7th fret. Back to pinky on the 10th fret, 3, 2, 1, 2, 8, 7. And then from here, I'm taking almost like a G chord here, except I'm only going to be picking the top E string and the bottom E string, and it's a pinching action. So it's my thumb on the top E string and my ring finger on the bottom E string. Both my middle and ring finger on my left hand are on the 3rd frets of the E strings, both E strings. And then I pinch the thumb and the ring finger that are on the E strings at the bottom here together, not individually but together. Then my middle finger hits the B string, so it's, and then I shift down to the 2nd fret, so it's a walk down, and I still hit that middle finger on the B string open, and then it's open E strings, and I go back to that 3 finger pattern that we were doing before, so it's 2. So it is supposed to flow directly back into the intro. So and you see how my ring finger comes down after I've done this walk down. I'm already right back to the 12th fret. This time we are going to be plucking the E string as we did before with our with our middle finger on the 3rd fret, but this time we're going to be plucking the open B string. We're not going to have our ring finger down, and we're not going to be plucking the bottom E string. We're going to be hitting the open B string, and it's going to be once that pinch on the E string and the B string, and then we step down to the 2nd fret of the E string, but this time I'm going to add my ring finger to the 3rd fret of the B string. So if I repeat that, it's 3rd fret E, open B, then 2nd fret E, 3rd fret B. So it's a little confusing at first, but you'll get used to it. And you only really do it once in the song. It's if we pretend that we've just gone through the first one already, then we're going. Next we go to the E add 9, which I end this little step down to an open E on both sides, but it's a part of picking through the E add 9 chord. So similar to an E minor, except that I'm going to have my pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, which is a B note, and my ring finger on the 4th fret of the D string, so it kind of looks like a power chord. And what I tend to do is brush my thumb across the top 3, and my 3 other fingers, the pointer, middle, and ring, are already set at the bottom 3, the G, the B, and the E. It may take some time, repetition, to get used to picking this way, to make it sound pretty flowy. But if I slow it down and I'm just going through it, first 3, and I descend halfway, then I go to a B minor. Now, similarly to the E add 9, I'm going to be brushing my thumb, except that because the B minor is an A pattern bar chord, I'm not hitting the top E string, I'm starting at the A string. So I'm just going to hit the top 2 and let the rest of the strings happen with my other 3 fingers. And from here we go to a C. Now, this can pose a bit of a challenge for a lot of people. I am taking my thumb on the root note of the C on the 3rd fret and the middle finger on the B string, because my pointer finger is on the B string 1st fret, and I pluck those 2 at the same time. It's like a pinch, and then my pointer finger will come to the G string open, and my middle will come to the D string. So it's after I pinch and I hit the 2 descending, so it's pinch, G, D. I'm going to use my middle again, and this time, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, is the hammer-on. I hit that B string where my pointer finger is on the 1st fret, and a lot of people will have trouble with this because either one of your pointer finger or your pinky is going to possibly be hitting or making contact with that bottom E string, so you'll get a dead note. That's not easy, but you pinch the 2 notes and then pluck the 2 in the middle, come back. I come back with my middle finger onto the B string, and I do a hammer-on with my pinky to the 3rd fret on the B string, so it's. So my middle is making this hammer-on from the 1st fret, where you see my pointer finger moving, to the pinky, and then my ring finger after. So I'm only plucking once for the hammer-on, and then once for the open E string. And then I shift to this G shape. And what I'm doing is a thumb to middle on the B string, because my middle on my other hand is fretting the 3rd fret of the E string, which is a G, and my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And I hit those two in order, not together like a pinch. I'm hitting them one after the other, so it's ascending at this point. So it's, and from here I do a step down. Now I'm not going to use my ring finger. I'm actually going to be using my thumb and pointer, and I'm going to be toggling. It's thumb hitting this E string for the 3rd fret here to my pointer on that open G string. That's the 3rd string from the bottom. And then I step down to the 2nd fret, still hitting that open G. And then I repeat. And I go through that same thing that I just explained. After that hammer-on and open E string on the bottom, this time I'm going to a D. So what I'm doing there is I'm hitting the root note D, which is the 3rd string down, and I'm hitting with my ring finger the fretted E string, which I'm fretting in a D chord, but I'm hitting it like a pinch. So I pinch them together, the bottom E string and the thumb on that root note D, and I get those 2 strings in the middle. And then I pluck the bottom E with my ring finger and do a trill, where the trill is my pinky doing a hammer-on pull-off. And that is also a speed bump, let's say, because you have to be able to hammer on and pull off without your ring finger coming down and making that E string a dead note. So I'm pinching, as I said, thumb to ring finger, root note, that's the D string, 3rd string down, and the bottom E string on the 2nd fret of that D chord, and then single ring finger on that E string, and I go back to picking the B string to the G string. You can use your middle to pointer if you choose. So after we do this, then we're going to slide down to, and if you're not familiar with this, this is where another form of the D chord happens. It's, and you shift so that your pointer finger, this is how I do it, pointer finger on the 5th fret of the E string, and then my ring finger and my pinky are on the 7th frets. So pinky is on the B string, 7th fret. Ring finger is on the G string, 7th fret. But I'm hitting descending from the E string down. And it happens kind of quick. So when after I descend, I slide so that my pointer finger is barring against the E and the B strings on the 10th fret. You have the 9th fret right here, and then you go to the 10th fret. And so it's on the 2 strings, the E and the B 10th frets, and my middle is on the 11th fret, but I hit them at all the same time, so it's a pinch of all 3. And I come to this 7th fret. This is my 7th fret. I see it because I have place markers on the top of my fretboard, but I don't have it for you to see on here. So I'm at the 7th fret, and it's not as easy to hear on my classical guitar. I get a better sound of the harmonics on the 7th fret with my steel string. So it's, and you just have to find where your sweet spot on your guitar is on the 7th fret. When I'm grabbing the harmonics, I am using the bottom half of the fret. So if this is the 7th fret right here, now I'm not pressing down to get the harmonics. I'm just showing you that this is the dead center of my 7th fret, and I'm hardly touching the string, because to get a harmonic, you're not pressing down. You're very lightly touching the strings. And if I move my finger right over this bar, the fret itself, you will actually get the harmonics. Now with this song, I'm only taking the harmonics from the G and the B, because that's part of the harmonics that you would get from a D chord. So it's... So I hope that was a helpful video in learning a new riff to play and practice around on your guitar. If you liked the video, give me some comments, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time.